Hey friends, welcome to this week's video. Long-awaited Nuraloops, both from this video perspective, but also from my actually getting them perspective. So I initially got these off a pre-order from Nuraloop. They're obviously delayed due to COVID, and as a result, the review took a while to get out there. However, even after getting them, there was just a lot to go over in terms of comparisons, so the review took longer than expected. So luckily now we are done with everything that we needed to go over, so I think we can get accommodated and acclimated with these little guys. The Nuraloops come with a travel case that has ample room to carry the headphones. It has a strong zipper and is soft to the touch. The travel case is about the size of a small wallet, and as you can see here, it is much bigger than other charging cases from competitors. In fact, I can fit the Sennheiser TW2s and the Jabra Elite 75T Actives inside of this travel case. One of the distinctive characteristics of these headphones is obviously that they're not true wireless and they do have a cable. They are adorned with a 7-pin connector which has proprietary connections, which drives its charging and its use for peripherals. The charging cable itself is magnetic, and again it is a proprietary connection. The Nuraloops can get a full charge in about 2 hours. In terms of a wired connection to an analog output, that is something that most wireless headphones do not have. Nuraphone does a decent job about implementing it here. Again, that proprietary connector helps a little bit by being magnetic. However, I do somewhat wish that that connector was a USB-C. However, I can see why they did not do that due to ergonomic reasons. I can see myself using this when my travel schedule gets back to normal, and I can try this with in-flight entertainment. The Nuraloops project a 16-hour battery life. I found that to be quite accurate. I was able to get through 10 hours of conferencing and music, plus 2 hours of workout and commute. The Nuraphones were still able to make it through the next day to about lunch before dying. Battery life will be less if you're using it for conferencing more. The Nuraloops are adorned with touchpads and touch dials, and lead into their ergonomic tips. The shape protrudes slightly at an angle for fit and is adorned with extremely flat ear tips. The ear tips have replaceable mesh, which is extremely welcome, as I've seen this mesh break in other in-ear headphones, including the Nuraphones. My only concern is losing these small things. Coming back to the ear tips, when I say flat, they are extremely flat, and they look like donuts from above. It's quite unique. If you're looking at competitors, the ear tips are much more shallow and do not protrude into the ear as much. Looking above, they are fatter to compensate. However, finding a fit takes some time. Usually, I'm medium to small with ear tips, but it took me some time to realize that large gave me the best seal and security. So it's definitely recommended to try all the ear tips and figure out your fit. In terms of profile, the headphones feel pretty sleek and don't protrude much. They definitely look closer to head than the Sennheiser TW2s. I thought the cable would be annoying with the weight of the dongle, but I barely notice it. The ear hooks are extremely malleable and are relatively unnoticeable when wearing. In fact, I feel like they take away some in-ear fatigue when listening in long sessions in comparison to other competitors. Again, the fit is secure if you are using the right ear tips. Here I was using too small of ear tips and they slipped out during the head shake. We'll get into fit more later in this review. Additional considerations with the current times are that the ear hooks are comfortable, yet they may lead some overload for some people's ears if you're thinking about glasses, a mask, and these headphones. This comes with the territory, but it's something I thought I should note. With the basics done, let's focus more on the unique features and sound offerings from Nuraloop. So obviously, as we're talking about a Nura company headphone, obviously one of the big things is personalization, and the sound profile. They bring that back this time around, and it's slightly different actually. So if you look at my profile from my Neuro headphones, they're slightly different than the loops, but that's obviously because the fit is slightly different. However, the same customization that you see on the Neuro headphones are also on the Nuraloop to a lesser extent. The Nuraloops being in-ear versus in-over-ear from the Neuro headphones obviously have different fits. The social mode still sounds great and natural, but gives less superhuman hearing than the Neurophones. Additionally, the immersion bass is still present, however, it is less boomy because it is obviously not an over-ear headphone and does not have the flex of the Neurophones. The Nuraloops come with touch controls, but also have the ability to use the rim of the earbud as a dial to tune things such as volume, immersion, and social modes. While this works great and is a welcome change, the tap features are limited. Going into the app, you can adjust your taps and dials in the settings, however the Nuraloops only come with a single tap feature. This is extremely limiting and I have to choose only 2 functions from a plethora of options. I chose social on the left and play pause on the right. However, this leaves a lot of features on the table, forcing me to use my phone for key things like next track and previous track. Hopefully they can push firmware updates to add some function to those pads, such as double and triple taps, or even a hold function. Much like the Neurophones, the touchpads are very responsive, but since they do not protrude as much, they get in the way less. While a shoulder or a raindrop may activate a tap command, I didn't have tremendous issues with this when using them. I think the biggest downfall of the Nuraloop's implementation is the automatic shutoff. It's never been consistent. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes, in this example it takes 5 minutes, and one time I even had it stay on all night, and in the morning I was at 10% battery. While I appreciate the attempt to be intuitive here, the system either needs to be tuned, or y'all need to give us the ability to initiate a shutoff. Moving on from the interfacing, let's go into the microphone quality and sound features. We'll be comparing the Nuraloop's microphones to the Sennheiser TW2s and the Jabra Elite 75T Actives, with an indoor setting with the windows open. This is a recording of the Nuraloop headphones, running at a sample rate of 8,000 Hz off a Bluetooth connection from an Android device. This is a recording from the mics from the Sennheiser True Wireless 2 headphones, running a sample rate of 8,000 Hz from an Android device. This is a recording from the mics from the Jabra Elite 75T Active, running a 8,000 Hz sample rate from an Android device. To me, the microphones perform very similarly in recording quality, but tell me what you think in the comments. The places where I did see the Nuraloop's microphones get beat out are in the active noise cancelling. The Sennheiser TW2s do a slightly better job about sapping out environmental noise. That by no means means the Nuraloop's ANC is bad. For example, here in the subway, I can barely hear any of this noise. The Nuraloop ANC is still very solid. Again, once you get the right fit, the Nuraloops stay in pretty well. When commuting or running errands, I never really had an issue with readjustments or earbuds falling loose or out. Shorter runs, or mild weather hit sessions, or even running football routes, the earbuds stayed in nicely. The issue I found was when doing workouts when I sweat a lot. This example here is a 2-hour workout session in 85-degree heat. After the first hour, I found myself readjusting every 10 minutes, and about 90 minutes, the earbuds straight slipped out during jump roping. I think this is attributed to the shape of the earbuds. That flat, shallow shape leads me to think that there's not much surface area for the ear to grip on. When excessive moisture is introduced, it just simply can't hold. Again, this is probably not normal use case, but I really want to enjoy the sun this day and test out the sweat performance. In terms of the Bluetooth connectivity performance, I have yet to have a drop-off and signal seems to be relatively strong. It performed on par with other earbuds when in my Brick Lane house, but outdoors it had amazing coverage, well past my expectations. I was able to get full court coverage on the basketball court, tuned in, even in the outfield of a rec baseball field, and had consistent connection at about 50 yards on the football field. This all with my trash Google Pixel 3 XL. Bluetooth 5 can theoretically hit 800 feet, so a newer, better phone may be able to transmit a stronger signal than mine. Despite the great performance standing, for some reason I had a much different experience when laying down.
Yeah, so I have no idea what's up with these headphones. If it's in hand and I lay down, it's fine.
Yeah. But if I put you far away. It starts breaking up for some reason. Maybe it's this dongle. But yeah, it's breaking up for some reason. So like, why is it the distance so much different when I'm on the ground? Again, this might just be my phone being really dumb. Moving on to multi-device connection, the Nuraloops can connect to multiple devices and it has decent connection management. Sending a connect signal from another device will initiate Nuraloop's switching sequence, and it swaps over pretty seamlessly. Not quite as seamless as the Jabra Elite 75Ts, but worlds better than the Sennheiser TW2s. Call quality over phone and computer was solid across cell coverage, and various other apps as well. However, I did see some drops in call quality when using Microsoft Teams for some reason. In terms of touch controls, all of your controls are still usable when connected to your computer. I was able to stop and pause YouTube videos, adjust volume with the dials, and still get solid use of that social mode. Obviously, connected to your computer, you can't adjust everything that you can when you're connected with the app through your phone, but if it's mapped to your touch controls, they will be usable. Again, this is where I will have to plead with Nura to please add more touch controls so this headphone can truly be used by power users like myself with no compromise. So Nuraloops are very interesting, and they have a lot of quirks that make them unique, but I think it's one of those devices where you just need to get acclimated to it to really appreciate it. So the ergonomics aren't the best, however they still are very comfortable. Just how they're placed, again with the flat ear tips and everything, is just a little bit weird to get used to. You may need to figure out your fit, and this is that time where I'm talking about you really need to spend time with these headphones to really understand them. Because once you get all of your settings set, all of your fittings in there, they're very, very comfortable and they're super worthwhile in terms of my everyday use case. And again, as we talk about the comparison to other headphones, I think this hits the dime on almost every aspect that you would want from a wireless headset, outside of it being actually true wireless. There is obviously a wire, but I think it's top tier in terms of all the different characteristics. While things may outperform it in different things, like the mics might be slightly better on the Jabras, or the active noise cancelling might be better on the TW2s. This still is super commendable in those two aspects. Plus, it has better sound than the Jabras, lasts just as long as the Jabras. It is way better in terms of battery life than the TW2s, and has a more secure fit. So like when you're talking about true wireless headphones, despite this not being true wireless, this does bat with the big boys as well as just is top echelon for all the different characteristics. I would rather have that top tier consistency rather than having the best in one and then faltering at another point. So to me, these are super commendable, and they'll literally go toe to toe with most wireless headphones that you see today. So for me, it's a strong recommend, and I think that you guys won't have any issues. I think it's just really spending the time to figure out how it'll fit you. That will be the biggest challenge with these, is just making sure you get the fit. Once you get the fit yourself. But anyway, those are the Nuraloops, and again, I'm sorry for the delay. They just require a little bit more attention than other headphones, but they're beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed that review. I have been noticing that there's a lot more activity. Again, more subscribers, been loving that. And it's really nice kind of going into these weeks knowing there's a review coming up, but also just interacting with you guys. So keep the comments coming. And again, as you watch these videos, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, doing all the things that you on a video that you normally like and love. And I'll see you next week. Appreciate you. Peace.